Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, I want to cover a post, an article that I just wrote this morning. It's something that's been on my mind for a while, but events here recently out there in the MyListing universe has made me really want to get this down on paper and published. So in this video, I'm going to just walk you through this post and I'll add my own anecdotes, reactions, things of that nature here in this video. So this is just going to be all me talking. So if you want to put me on in the background and go about your stuff, then totally up to you there. I'm actually going to go ahead and remove myself here. Just wanted to show my face and say hello. But I'm going to go ahead and remove myself here so there's no distractions. And plus, you're probably just going to be listening to me anyway, so that's all good. All right. Your MyListing project will likely fail, and it's your fault. It's your fault. This is the harsh reality, folks. It's not the fault of WordPress, which powers a massive portion of the web. It's not the fault of the MyListing theme, which I know for a fact is behind many lucrative online businesses. It's the choices that you make. That is why your website will fail. So again, I know for a fact I have clients that are doing extremely well as far as monetization goes with their MyListing based website. So it's not the theme, it's not WordPress, it is your choices. For your project to succeed, you must make intelligent choices and truly invest in it. If those choices and investments lead you to the products and services that MyListing Club offers, great. If not, that's totally fine. If the MyListing Club were to go away immediately after this video, if I was just to shut it down, I personally would do better financially by being able to just focus on my client base and building things better, bigger, better, everything for them. You know, producing products just for them, MyListing add-ons, doing crowd-funded custom development just with my clients, keeping everything internal. But that's not why I built the MyListing Club. I built the MyListing Club to help people, right? To go along with that, you'll notice in this post, if you read it, I'm not including any links to anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I want you guys just to make the best choices with whoever, whatever products and services that mean, whatever that means. I just want you to make the best choices. Okay. This is not a post, a video that's supposed to be clickbaity for any other reason than to get you to pay attention to this, because this is stuff that I am seeing out there in the real world. This is what's going on and it's real. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue on. How can you make such a bold statement, Ryan? People come to me all the time to rescue their projects. Sometimes projects can be rescued in place, i.e., making the changes required to be successful without starting over. Sometimes they can be rescued by starting over, i.e., new hosting, new website build, put a starter site on it, those types of things. And sometimes the project is a lost cause. In those cases, the business owner isn't willing to make the required investments, whether it's time or money or both, and the project shuts down. Here are just some of the things I've witnessed and heard over the years. And like I said, a couple of these are very fresh. Just went through these experiences with people. All right. Let's cover I'll list them here and then we'll cover them here. In depth. The person I hired isn't the expert they claimed to be. So, person hired somebody that claimed to be an expert, didn't work out so well. The first person I hired was a jerk, and the second and the third people I hired were jerks. The person I hired screwed everything up and takes forever to do anything. My website is slow, clunky, and often breaks. My users are frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm not making any money. and users complain about the return on their investment. These are the things that I have heard most over the years. And a couple of these, like I said, are very recent, very real things. But these are statements coming from real world MyListing website owners. Okay. All right. So let's tackle this first one. The person I hired isn't the expert they claimed to be. And again, I'll preface this. I don't care if you hire me. I don't care if you hire the person across the street from you. Make sure to the best of your ability that they are the expert they claim to be, with the best of your ability, like I said. Okay. So let's get into this. There is a well-known YouTuber who built, in air quotes, an entire MyListing website on his channel. This person is what I call a Surface expert. Not talking about the Microsoft Surface laptops. I'm talking on the surface. You know, they learn just enough about the subject matter to seem competent in a YouTube video, but underneath, they have no clue what it takes to bring a MyListing project together. I was in the middle of a MyListing project with a client, and it became clear they were watching this guy's channel and were interested in bringing them into the project. I'm not going to tell you how I know. I based on some of the keywords that were said, I knew who they were referring to and where the stuff was coming from. The client was making the strangest requests that go against the very basic principles of building WordPress websites. And the requests were provoked by this YouTuber who claimed to be an expert, in air quotes. Crazy. This client that I had, I know for a fact they were not capable of asking the questions and making the requests that they were making because they were so out. They weren't technical. They don't really know much about WordPress. They were relying on experts to guide them. And the questions and requests that were coming in were clearly coming in not from them. Ultimately, I had the client work with the YouTuber and I left the project. Guess what happened? Nothing. After almost a year, the project is still seemingly dead. The website is completely dead. Still in maintenance mode, coming soon mode. It's been there for a year. Been that way for a year. I understand that non-technical people have more difficulty verifying the skills of someone offering technical services. Still, some things don't require technical knowledge. I'm going to give you an example. Back in the day, when I was in charge of an information technology team and department at a company, at the CIO level, one of my tasks was hiring developers. Now, I knew, technologies, servers, networking, applications, things like that. That was my expertise. I knew it inside and out. Just like similar today, I know websites inside and out, but I only know a little bit about custom coding. I'm learning more and more every day that goes by, trying to learn. But like back in the day, I had to hire developers. I didn't know anything about development. I knew I was technical, but I didn't know how to code, right? So was not an excuse. I couldn't use that as an excuse in my job for hiring the wrong people. So what can you do to get around that? Or what could I do to get around that in that case? Well, you give them situations and you ask them how they would approach it. Doesn't necessarily have to be the code. Here's a situation. How would you approach it? Whether it's billing, whether it's communication, whether it's milestones, getting things completed at certain milestones and delivered on time. Can they show you examples of some of their work? Can they show you some testimonials? There's things that you can do that do not require technical expertise. Okay. In the example above that I just gave you, the MyListing website owner made the wrong decision to put more trust in a surface expert, in air quotes, with many YouTube subscribers over someone, me, who has been focusing on building MyListing websites for years. This YouTuber has a huge following, lots of subscribers, lots of views, all of that sort of thing. I don't have that. But what I do have is probably 5 years of experience, a clear desire and love of working with the theme, producing products, producing videos, producing guides, running multiple communities over the years for the club, partnering with people, building all of these things. It's not being a surface expert. This is being a true expert with the MyListing theme. All right. There's a huge, huge difference in what I am doing versus what that person did and is doing. Unfortunately, the client was swayed by what he was hearing versus what was the reality and what was really happening. So that is that one. Don't hire an expert in air quotes, just because they claim to be one. Find out to the best of your abilities if they really are. Okay. Next up, the first person I hired was a jerk, and the second and third people I hired were jerks. When I hear this, it's a major red flag. It's not a good sign when people blame everyone else for what goes wrong with their project. Some people consider the phrase, "the customer is always right," as gospel. It's just not true. I'm a customer, and I know with 100% certainty that I am not always right. So therefore, the statement, "the customer is always right," is not true. Okay? You are not always right because you're the customer. We are often wrong. I just went through this the other day. The person said they worked with a few developers from the MyListing community, and they were all jerks. That is what they said. They said they're in one of the MyListing communities, probably the main MyListing Facebook group. There's some developers in there. One of the reasons I left and never came back or I should say never went back, is it's a toxic community. Just being real. Everybody that I talk to in my business consultations, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people that I talk to in the business consultations bring it up. It's a sore spot of, why are people belittling? Why are they jerks? Why are they this and why are they that? And there is some truth to that. I'm luckily not part of that anymore. But anyway, this person said that every developer they talked to in the MyListing community were all jerks. So my red flag went up immediately. Really? Every single one of them was a jerk? You had no hand in what went wrong with your project, your tasks, whatever it is that you had them working on. You were the perfect client, and 3 of these people were not good for you. Like I said, my red flag in this case went up, and it was justified because as I started to work with this person, they refused to follow any of the procedures that I had in place and were unwilling to invest in their project, time or money or all the above. And they constantly asked for discounts. So there was no price that was ever low enough for them. And they were just constantly trying to make their own rules and bend my services to what they felt they needed. I've never had someone done it quite to that extent before. Needless to say, it is not a client. It is not a client at this time because of that interaction. But again, here it's customer's not always right. You're the website owner. You're a customer. Whether you're hiring developers, purchasing products, purchasing services, you are not always right. I am not always right. We need to get past the idea that the customer is always right at any cost. And we need to look inward to ourselves and think, am I being a jerk? Am I following the rules? Am I doing my part? Am I being respectful of someone's time? Am I being respectful of someone's business? Would I want to be treated this way? I am not saying that these developers that this person claimed were all jerks. I'm not saying they weren't jerks. But I am also not saying that the customer is always 100% right, because they are not. Okay. So when I hear that everyone else is a jerk but you, especially when there's multiple people involved, then not good. It's not good. The person I hired screwed everything up and takes forever to do anything. This has happened to anyone who has ever hired someone for website work or maybe even home improvements or other tasks. As much as you don't want to hear it, there is still a good chance that this is still your fault. Where do you look for people to hire? What were your criteria for hiring this person? Have they built MyListing websites before? Were you looking for the cheapest rates? Typically, what I've seen here is that website owners poke around the web and find someone who claims they've worked with the MyListing theme before, and they just happen to be offering the cheapest rates. Then, once they're hired, things rapidly fall apart. The saying, "you get what you pay for," exists for a reason. Even so, it's about more than just money here. There are more questions to ask. Were you an active participant in your project? Did you communicate well? Did you set clear and realistic expectations for your project? I made the club's custom development service a client-only service because of how difficult it was to get random customers off the streets to communicate effectively and set realistic expectations. Often people think something should take 5 minutes, but they don't consider the time it takes to communicate, test, implement the solution, test again some more, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of like the customer is always right. Did you do your part? Could you have done things better? Saying that someone screwed everything up is subjective, right? What does that mean exactly? Are you saying the sky's falling, but it really maybe just one little thing broke, and you said you're frustrated with them for some other reason? You're saying they screwed everything up. They take forever to do anything. Maybe something happened, like they were, had personal time off or personal matters, and you asked for something that you thought was super important, and it really wasn't. But even if it was, like the person had a family thing, and now you've labeled them as they take forever to do anything because you're frustrated. So again, it's about looking inward and asking, did you do your part? Did you do everything that you could do? Are you asking unrealistic things? Are you setting unrealistic expectations? Are you frustrating the person that you hired because you're too demanding? You're too short. You're not communicating. You're this and you're that. A lot of times, it's why I titled this post, it's going to be the title of this video. I find, and again, this is not because of something that happened with the club. This is what MyListing website owners are saying to me when I help them. Okay. All these red flags go up when I hear stuff like this. I want those clients to come into me, or potential clients, customers to come to me. Hey, Ryan, I want you to help me build this site. I want you to help me do this. I want you to help me do that. And that's what I love. But I have people coming in and leading with this. The person I hired screwed everything up and takes forever to do anything. I often find that when statements like all of these are said, it is your fault. It is not the person you hired that screwed everything up and takes forever to do anything. I'm not saying 100% of the time it's your fault. I'm just saying, from what I have seen after I've heard this stuff and I've taken part in it, that it's typically you, the website owner. Okay, I'm just laying it out there. There are cases, before I go on, there are absolute cases when the person you hire will screw everything up for real, and they will take forever. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm just saying most cases that I've ever experienced or heard this, it is the client. My website is slow. And again, real quick, I am not defending my profession at all. I am just saying what I have witnessed over the past 5 years of doing this, specifically in the MyListing community. That's all I'm talking about, what I've seen. Not defending myself or anybody else that does this profession. Okay, and as you can clearly see, I'm throwing certain experts, in air quotes, under the bus. I'm calling people out where it needs to be called out. Yeah, you see I'm pretty passionate about this. Okay, my website is slow, clunky, and often breaks. My users are frustrated. I'm frustrated. This one is easy. The people involved in the project, the website owner, hired experts in air quotes, etc., are not experts when it comes to building websites that look good and perform well. The website owner buys the cheapest web hosting, and they rationalize this decision by saying, once I get going, I'll invest more into quality hosting. This is the wrong approach. You don't buy a cheap security system for your home, at least I hope you don't, and justify it by saying, once I get my first break-in, so once someone first breaks into your house, then you're going to decide I'll invest more money in securing my home. That is the wrong approach. There are some things you need to do right, and you need to do them right the first time and right away. One of those things is starting with a solid foundation. Web hosting, for example. While my analogy above mentions security, that's just one aspect of what a quality web host provides, including security, performance, 24/7 expert support, etc. Okay? I don't care if you go with the Club's Keensta plan. I hope you do, because it's going to give you enterprise power and features for the price of their entry-level plan. Okay? Think about that for a second. Keensta is one of the best hosts in the industry. It's an industry leader. If you don't go with them, just go with someone comparable. I have never said Keensta is the best. I've never said I try not to say anybody's the best. They are awesome for me. They are awesome for all my clients. They are awesome for other customers that just come to the club to get into the Keensta hosting. Okay? Get with Keensta or get with something comparable. I don't care which. Don't just get cheap hosting. Then there are plugins. Website owners often install plugins without considering how they can hinder performance, cause conflicts, etc. When I do website audits or onboard websites into the MyListing Website Care or MyListing Manage My Listing, I often see plugins that aren't needed because they're just not needed at all, or they overlap in functionality with other plugins installed. Another thing I often see is the overuse of Elementor add-on plugins. Website owners read about a feature that an add-on has, read about another feature they like from another add-on, and install these add-ons without understanding the potential repercussions of doing so. Then there's the actual building of the Elementor-based content. Often when I look at some of the pages that the website owner or expert in air quotes created, they are a rat's nest with elements that don't need to be there, with every element having individual settings. In other words, nothing is set globally. They're using older technology like sections and columns versus the new containers, Flexbox containers and grids. Now, I'm not picking on Elementor here. I'm using this as an example because it's a core component of MyListing websites. While it's not perfect software, it works a heck of a lot better when used correctly. I'm just barely scratching the surface of all of the components that require close attention. But again, it's your fault if any of this stuff goes wrong. You do the hiring, you do the purchasing, and sometimes you do the building. Sometimes you do all of the above, right? So when I see this title, my website is slow, clunky, and often breaks. My users are frustrated. I'm frustrated. You need to take ownership of this. It is your fault for this particular statement, okay? You do the hiring. You've done the purchasing. You're doing some of the building. Maybe you're doing all three of these, okay? Next one up. I'm not making any money, and users complain about the return on their investment. So you're not making any money as the website owner. Your listing owners are not seeing the return on the investment for what you are either you're likely charging them for their listings, right? I guess they could be free, but they're still not seeing the return on their investment, whatever the case may be, right? There's a phrase from a popular movie here in the United States: build it and they will come. It's from a baseball movie. It's about building a baseball field, and they'll they'll just show up, and play. That is not the case when building websites, let alone MyListing websites that you're trying to monetize from. Why should people list their business on your website? What's the incentive? Do you have competitors? How are you differentiating your business from your competitors, from those other businesses? What MyListing website owners fail to do is ask themselves, why would I want to be here? Why would I want to list on my website? If I had to guess, it's because they are afraid to answer that question. For those of you in this camp as MyListing website owners, my bet is you're afraid to ask this question because you're afraid of what your answer is going to be. You're afraid that you're going to say you don't really see the incentive to list on your website. Just my guess. It's not enough to let people add free listings and hope to monetize by placing ads all over your website. Ads only work if people have a reason to visit your website. Even then, the ad game isn't what some people make it out to be. It's not enough to charge people to add listings to your website just to be present on your platform. There needs to be more of an incentive, whether it's saving money on products and services, your products or services, or those of your partners, people you partner with, which I highly recommend you do. Helping your listing owners eliminate the need to sign up for separate services, booking, Google reviews. So the club gives you examples of this and how I would go about doing that. For example, for the booking stuff and the Google reviews, it's all out there on the club website. But all of this stuff, you got to give them incentive to stay, a return on their investment, so that when those views aren't necessarily coming in at that time on their listings and they're generating business, they have other things to fall back on that you can give them for reasons for the return on your investment. Hey, I'm supplying your booking solution, so you don't have to go out and sign up for your own. I'm supplying your Google review solution, so you don't have to go out and maintain your own account. I'm giving you a great discount from Embed Social's Google reviews for your account there. You'd have to pay a lot more to go get your own solution. Same for the booking, all of those things. It's not just about the generated business from people viewing their listings. That's all, and once they're in there, like the store, giving them a marketplace with WooCommerce product vendors and things of that nature. That's can help with the return on investment. But again, it's your fault if you're not doing these things. You can't just charge people to list on your website and hope they're, first of all, why would they? I mean, that's not enough to list typically, but why would they stay? If they do decide for some reason to list, why would they stay? I mean, chances are there's no incentive to stay long term. It's your fault. You've got to take steps. I give you a lot of ways to do this on the club website. I would take advantage of those. Okay, last one here. This is going to be a bit of a rant, so bear with me on some of this. Don't be cheap, only to turn around and charge for listings on your platform. I'll end this article with a rant covering something that drives me absolutely bonkers. I've had people complain about paying me the cost of a coffee, $5, for a pro club membership that grants them access to guides, code snippets, partner deals, and more, only to find out that some of these people, I've seen it before, charge $200 or more per month for a listing. WTF. My point is that some website owners expect things to be free or super low cost for products and services to make sense to them. It doesn't make sense to them unless it's free or super low cost. Part of this problem is the WordPress ecosystem. It's gotten better over the years, but it's just the open source, everything is free. It's just not reality, folks. It's just not a reality. And people need to get past that. Okay. But again, some website owners expect things to be free or super low cost for it to make sense to them. Yet they turn around and they charge for their products, services, etc. So it's a double standard. I don't want to pay you, Ryan, but I will go and I will charge $200 for a a month for a listing. Like, it makes zero sense. Okay. I've seen some website owners pay $4.99. That's like the advertisement for these places for web hosting. Yet turn around and charge $14.99 for listing on their website. And they wonder why their projects fail. Okay. Instead of investing in their business, they try to do everything for the cheapest price while offering very little value to the listing owners. It's all about investing in your business, investing in your customers, investing in yourself. Anything short of this, and all you have is a hobby, it's not a business. It's not going to be a business. That is part of the harsh reality, and I've seen it over and over and over again. People come to the end of the MyListing space with an idea, but they have no clue the amount of work that it takes to turn it into a successful business. They have a hobby. That's it. They have a hobby. And until they are willing to either bring on somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, or they get their act together and they start investing in, it's not just about money, it's investing time. Read the guides from the club, watch the videos, understand this stuff. I give it all to you. It's all available. A lot of it's free. Some of it's not, but that's, I have to have a reason to stick around and run this business, right? I'm running a business, that's got to be worth something to, right? It's got to be worth $5 a month, right? Got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in your customers. You got to invest in your business, or it's a hobby. All right, guys. I like to end these videos typically by saying, I hope you enjoyed this video. But actually, I hope you didn't enjoy this one. I hope it lights a fire under you. I hope it pisses you off. I hope it causes you to go out and do the things that you need to do to not have a hobby, only to have a business. Okay? Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.